Hey, what's up YouTube? Today we're going to take a look at the Ruger 1022 long rifle. By far the most popular rifle in America, and for very good reason. It's inexpensive, it shoots inexpensive ammo, and there's a plethora of aftermarket parts and accessories that you can use to customize this for your personal needs. There's also several different models you can choose from, ranging from $200 to mid to upper $400, and they come either with wood stocks, polymer stocks, stainless steel barrels, bull barrels, and all that good stuff. So keep in mind the bull barrels are going to have a hard time fitting in a lot of these aftermarket stock sets without some serious doctoring up. So keep that in mind when you're looking at purchasing your new rifle. This one is outfitted with a Tapcoat Intrafuse stock system, front grip, Ruger BX25 magazine to replace the 10-round flush mount rotary magazine this comes with, extended charging handle so you can grab it with gloves, magazine release upgrade, automatic bolt release. We did a hammer upgrade trigger job. We also have a TrueGlow red-green 3 MOA dot and a flash suppressor that looks cool and nothing more. So that's what we did to mine. In the next couple videos I want to show you how you take this from a factory setup. We'll put the stock back on. We're going to take it completely apart, including the trigger completely apart, the bolt completely apart, firing pin, extractor, and all of that. We're going to have some theory on some cleaning, and then we're going to reassemble it all with all the upgraded parts to get you to this state right here. As of June of 2012, this complete setup is going to run about $475. So you don't necessarily need all this. For me, I use it as a training tool and small game tool if need be. I'm an AK guy, so this mimics my AK setup. Banana style magazine. I got my charging handle on the right that protrudes out, and I run the same stock set on my AK. So I can use this and get my same feel for 1/100th of the price of ammo. Definitely something to think about. So stay tuned and we'll start off getting this thing taken apart. Don't forget to subscribe. Alright, we've got our factory stock back on our 1022, and we've also replaced our 25 round magazine with the factory internal rotary magazine. So we'll go ahead and remove that. It is empty, and move it to the side. We'll go ahead and finish the safety check. We're empty. So now we're ready to start taking this thing down. We're going to start with the barrel band. Loosen that up. We'll slide right off the end. Put him off to the side. Step 2 underneath, you're going to have the takedown screw right in front of the magazine well. We'll remove that, and we're also going to keep it with our keeper products. Our aftermarket stock will need to reuse this bolt, so we'll put them off to the side. Make sure your safety's kind of in the middle. Once you get it to where it'll let the stock by, go ahead and lift and rotate the stock right off. That's going to leave us with the trigger assembly, barrel, and receiver. Watch out for pins moving around. They will fall out. There you go. That one fell right out. So once the stock's off, they are free to move, and some of them will. So let's go ahead and remove the trigger assembly. We're going to be removing these 2 pins. That one fell out for me. And we'll push the other one right out. There we go. Okay, so now we can remove our trigger assembly. We're going to set him off to the side and work on him last. Alright, now we've got our bolt and our buffer, our bolt buffer in the back here. That's the bolt hits that, and it keeps it from going too far back to come out. So what we're going to do is we're going to need to pop this thing out, which will allow the bolt to slide back and be released. This pin usually is in a little better, so may take 1 or 2 whacks with a mallet, come right out. Put him off to the side as well. Alright, now our bolt is free to come all the way back. What we're going to want to do from here is hold pressure on that, get underneath it, and put a little pressure towards you, rotate it up, and it'll fall right into your hand. Alright, so there's your bolt. We're going to put it to the side as well. Slowly release your charging handle and your guide rod and guide spring. Put him off to the side. We'll be replacing that as well. That leaves us with the barrel. Alright, to remove the barrel, we're going to need to get a retaining block off. If you notice it's got an angle, the barrel has an angle that matches that, and it presses it into the receiver and holds it solid. So there are 2 Allen screws we're going to have to get rid of. Go ahead and get them loosened. And they are extremely fine thread, so it's going to take several turns. Removing the barrel is a great way to detail clean it if you get a hold of one that's used or haven't cleaned yours in a while and need to run the brush through it. You should run it from the back to the front and pull it completely out. The way the receiver is, you're not going to be able to do that. So some folks will drill a hole in the rear of the receiver to facilitate that, and I do not recommend that. I think that's pretty tacky and pretty lazy myself. Sorry for all those that have done that. Worst things could happen, but as you can see, this doesn't take but just a second. And these pop out. And there's your retaining block. Alright, depending on how old this is, you may be able to squeeze and pull and get the barrel to come out. Mine still will not, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the mallet, and we're going to give it a couple good pops. Sorry about that. Trying not to send it across the room. There we go. That'll pop right out. As you can see, here's the angle that the retention block presses against, and it cannot come forward. So that's a complete disassembly of your barrel. Alright. Cleaning. All inside your receiver is going to get completely filed up, so you're going to want to scrub that down pretty good. Your bolt as well, you're going to want to clean it completely and give it a good oil in on the top and the sides. If your firing pin starts to act up, we're going to address that in the end, but you'll need to keep that clean as well if it starts to really gunk up on you. Barrel, obviously, now you can get through the back, keep it nice and clean, keep a little bit of oil in it, keep it from rusting. Alright, the next thing we're going to disassemble is going to be our trigger assembly. Again, some of these pins might fall out, so just keep an eye on them. What we're going to start with, I'll punch here, is we're going to start with our magazine release pivot pin. It's going to be located right here. Just go ahead and push it through. Go ahead and sit him off the side. At that point, you can depress your magazine plunger, which will allow you to remove your magazine release. You can then pull out your plunger and your spring. Alright, next you're going to move up to the left, and you're going to be removing the ejector pin. It's the same exact pin as the one down here. If you get them mixed up, it's okay. Take note of the bolt lock spring that's underneath that pin. It is under a little pressure. It will not fly out, but just be aware it is going to pop up. So go ahead and give it a push about halfway. There, the pin comes out. You can go ahead and remove your ejector, and you can move your manual bolt release. Now this will be replaced as well. Alright, next up is going to be our hammer pin right here in the middle. Go ahead and push him. Whoops. Go ahead and release the hammer, I'm sorry. Go ahead and get the tension off him, and then go ahead and push him straight through. Kind of turn upside down, and the hammer is going to come out, and the bolt lock spring is going to come out. Take note that one side has a dog leg on it. That's going to come into play when we reinstall, so just be aware of that. Alright, the next step is going to be hitting the trigger pin right here in the middle. I would go ahead and cover up the open top part just to keep things from flying around, and also be aware of your trigger plunger and plunger spring right here. They may flop out. They're not under a lot of pressure, but they may fall out, and just there's going to be 2 little springs. Just try to keep them separate. So we'll go ahead and push him through. You can see I was mindful to watch that. So there's your plunger and plunger spring. Shake the rest out in our hand. With that came the hammer strut and hammer strut spring. Could have taken that out with the hammer, but either way, it's out now. And there's our trigger pin. We're left with our sear, our disconnector, our sear spring, our disconnector pin, and our actual trigger. So we'll line those up in their stack. And that leaves with an empty trigger housing. We're not going to remove the safety. I don't feel a need to do that. So, okay, our last point of business is going to be working with a bolt. We've got our extractor, a plunger, and a spring on this side. And then we have our firing pin, a pin that holds that in, and then a spring underneath that we all need to get out. If this gums up over time with filing and things not getting cleaned well, it will not function, and you'll need to take this apart and get it cleaned, or buy a new one, or pay somebody. So being able to take this down is a good thing to know. What we're going to do is, I've got a little pick here, and I've bent the very tip of it, and we're going to get inside here, and we're going to hook that plunger. Let's see if I can get a good shot of that. Right in the top of that plunger, we're going to pull it straight down and depress it all the way. We can give it a good shake, and our extractor comes out. Keeping your finger on top of the tip so nothing comes flying. Release the spring tension. Out comes the plunger. Give it a little pull, and there's your spring. You can also get Volquarts and replacement extractors. I don't think you'll ever need one as long as you take care of this one. But here they are in case you need to get to them. I'm going to set those to the side. Alright, the next thing we need to do is get our firing pin out. We're going to need to drive this pin out using an 1/8, 3/16 works better, 1/8 if you have it, pin punch. So we'll go ahead and start getting him beat out. And it takes quite a few whacks at first to get him rolling. Alright, and it's out. Took a few more whacks than I thought I did. I sorry I had to edit that out there. And also the phone rang. So, finally get your pin out. Your firing pin will come completely out. Give it a pop. And there's your spring that returns your firing pin upon firing. So let me lay these out and we'll give a pan shot and give you an idea of what you're working with here. Alright, after all that, that is what you're left with. I suggest keeping everything orderly. It'll assist you in getting everything put back together. Alright, now let's start swapping out these parts for some upgrades and reinstalling.